Hello everyone and happy WWDC 2020. Apple has just officially announced the future of iOS with iOS 14. In this video, I'm going to do a quick overview of all the new features that were announced. In a separate video, I'll do a hands-on, in-depth review of each new feature, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let's jump right in. It's taken 14 years, but we finally have a new home screen to be excited about. Apple has finally added the ability to add widgets directly to the home screen. Widgets come in multiple different sizes, allowing you to customize exactly how much or how little information you want. In addition, there's a Smart Stack widget, which will automatically cycle through relevant apps throughout the day. Apple has also added a new app library view to the home screen that automatically groups together apps by category, as well as features groups for recently added apps and apps that you're most likely to open next. You can also very easily search through your entire list of apps with a quick search or by scrolling through them A to Z. Another new feature is picture-in-picture. Videos can now be played in picture-in-picture mode, which means that videos will remain on top of whatever screen you already have open. The player can be moved, resized, or hidden off-screen. Even if the video is hidden off-screen, the audio will continue to play. And the video can easily be brought back at any time with a quick swipe. The Siri UI has been completely redesigned. Instead of the obtrusive full-screen display of years past, we now have a simple, small Siri pop-up at the bottom of the screen. When Siri delivers results, they're delivered in little cards at the top of the screen, much like a notification. In addition to the UI updates, Siri can also now be used to send audio messages. iOS 14 brings a brand new Translate app for translating words and phrases between languages. In addition, the Translate app supports translating back and forth conversations, with the app automatically being able to detect which language is being spoken. So I can speak English and have the app output Spanish, and my friend can respond back in Spanish and the app will output English. Messages is getting some much needed love in iOS 14. You'll now be able to pin conversations to the top of the Message app for quick access. There's a bunch of updates to Memoji with over 20 new hair and headwear styles, more age options, face masks, and 3 new Memoji stickers. Perhaps the most useful updates come to group messaging. Group messaging now supports inline or threaded replies, pretty much like every other messaging platform out there. On top of that, you'll be able to directly mention someone, and notifications can be configured to only be notified if you are directly mentioned. Apple is still putting a lot of work into Maps to make it better and better each year. This year with iOS 14, Apple Maps is getting curated guides for recommendations of places to eat, shop, and explore. There are also a few new ways to navigate, with a special focus on ways of reducing our carbon footprint. This includes cycling directions, which factor in things like elevation and if the route has stairs or not, and also EV routing, which determines the optimal route for your electric vehicle and automatically adds stops at compatible charging stations to your route. Moving over to CarPlay, iOS 14 will allow you to change the wallpaper of the CarPlay dashboard. iOS 14 also brings support for new categories of apps, including parking, EV charging, and fast food. Expect to see third-party support for this later this year when iOS 14 is released. Speaking of the car, Apple also officially introduced the much-rumored car key. Car key allows you to lock, unlock, and start your car with a virtual car key on your iPhone. Additionally, you'll be able to share virtual copies of your key with others to give them access to your car, and you can even set limitations. Also new this year are app clips. App clips are super lightweight snippets of apps that provide very specific functionality without you having to download the entire app. For example, tapping on an NFC tag at a parking meter could bring up an app clip that lets you quickly and easily pay for parking, or scanning a QR code could bring up an app clip that lets you quickly pay for your coffee at your local coffee shop. Lastly, a very minor but welcome change is that incoming calls will no longer disrupt what you're doing with a full screen notification. In iOS 14, incoming calls will display a non-obtrusive bar at the top of the screen, much like any other notification, where it can be easily answered or dismissed. And that's iOS 14. Given Apple's recent pattern of focusing one year more heavily on new features and then the other more heavily on reliability and stability, it seems that iOS 14 is the latter. While there are some great additions in iOS 14, there's really not a whole lot that's new, which honestly I'm okay with because iOS 13 has been plagued with so many issues. I think it's time to double down on stability and reliability. This was just a really quick look at all the new features that Apple announced in iOS 14. There are undoubtedly a bunch of other little things that they didn't have time to go into. After I spend some time with the beta, I'll make a new video with all my findings, big and small. In addition to that, I'll also do a much more in-depth review of each of these features in a separate video. Stay tuned.